Introducing Icy Hot Pro. Ice works fast. Squeeze your pain and you down.
What's going on, dudes and dudettes? Yep, got my Luka Doncic shirt on. Sport him tonight. See how that game goes. Last night's result was pretty good, I would have to say, because the Boston Celtics lost. But that series is still going to go far, so we'll see who ends up coming out on top of there. But yeah, I don't know if you ever noticed that I'm usually in the same spot because I have something hidden right there that I'm still deciding where to put on my wall and all this stuff. But yeah, once I figure that out, I'll definitely have a little bit more of a different spottage here and there on my videos. But yes, let's get on to the more important thing. So USC football, they did get a commitment from a 4-star cornerback in the class of 2023 in Braxton Myers. I know they were waiting on the same day, I think it was Sunday, for a similar type of cornerback player that was actually from California, but he ended up picking LSU, so wasn't that surprised that Myers ended up choosing USC, but definitely glad it's USC over Texas in his home state, so always good to steal from them. Then an ex-Carolina / Los Angeles Ram defensive end has signed with the Chargers. Pretty sure it's just like on a 1-year deal, but his name is Morgan Fox. So once again, I think while he was in LA before this, he was being coached by Brandon Staley, who was the D coordinator for the Rams at the time. So once again, this is like the 4th or 5th ex-player that he's added to the roster that he has coached in the past. Obviously, Khalil Mack, Bryce Callahan, Troy Reader, guys like that. So, and they're all on the defensive side. So hopefully this is good news for that defense to be able to stop this crazy AFC West that has, you know, come up so far, which is still crazy to think about. Then apparently both the Chargers and Derwin James have been discussing an extension to his rookie deal. I know it's a big thing because everybody's been kind of waiting on it to see if the Chargers would stupidly give up a generational type of defensive player, in my opinion. But as we know, they are both talking pretty soon, hopefully, and everything seems positive that they believe a deal will get done soon once they do start talking. So I'm pretty sure within the next month or so, if not sooner, you'll hear that the contract extension was agreed to. And it's not like Derwin James has all the power in the world because he did miss a couple seasons due to injury. So it's not like he can prove that he played every single game since he's been drafted. So yes, the Chargers did supposedly take a chance on him because of injury history. That's why he fell down to 17th when they picked him in that draft. But overall, I think they're both good pals here and will come up with a deal that makes them a top paid safety at some point, but still it's a good deal for the Chargers because they're probably not going to be paying him as much as, say, like Joey Bosa, who is on their team, and Khalil Mack playing defensive end. So definitely happy about that news. Then Joey Baker of Duke recently graduated and stuff, but he has one more year left on to be able to play in college, and we thought it was going to be with Duke, but apparently he has just entered the transfer portal today, so most likely he is leaving. But I did kind of dig in a little bit more as to why might be the reason, so I just thought he was okay with coming off the bench. But apparently Duke has a player by the name of AJ Green, who is from Northern Iowa and is kind of testing out the waters right now for the NBA. He was at one of the recent scrimmages that they had. I don't know if he was invited to the combine or not, but he is like a 3-point shooter type of dude and pretty much the same mold as a Joey Baker, but a little bit better in my opinion. And he did well in the scrimmage, but apparently he is on campus as of today as well. And once Joey Baker saw that, he all of a sudden went into the transfer portal, even though this AJ Green guy has not committed to whether he's going to stay in the NBA draft or come back to school. And that kind of just a big signal that maybe he is going to end up joining Duke, AJ Green that is. So very happy about that. I definitely think he will get a lot more playing time than Joey Baker would, especially because of seniority and just how much of a better player he was. So hopefully that's the case, and if that is, then I'll definitely report on it. But definitely looking forward to that if that is news at some point. Then the Chargers claimed an offensive lineman, and it looked like he recently played with the Minnesota Vikings and Zach Bailey. Don't really know much about him or where he's from, but You know, Minnesota has been one of the better rushing attacks in the NFL, especially with a guy like Dalvin Cook, but you have to have a good offensive line in order to get the numbers he does. So it's not a bad thing to get talent while there is still left in the free agency when it comes to the NFL. And then ex-USC linebacker, I kind of thought about this guy a little bit, just reminiscing about the great USC days, but of course he's surprisingly popped up, and it's a little bit of bad news. Apparently he's been doing some jail time because he had pleaded guilty to two separate DUIs. I think one happened late last year and one happened sort of recently, but apparently he did like 120 days in jail, was released, and I guess his plea deal or something like that is if he's good for the next 5 years, nothing bad happens, and everything's copacetic, then it'll come off his record and all this stuff. But I just hope that he does end up going towards a positive era because he was one of the better linebackers at USC. So good luck to him. Then USC, the campus, I didn't even know they were doing this in college. They apparently won a National Wildlife Federation, which it goes to the campus that has the most zero waste. So if you're obviously being, you know, worldly conscious and, you know, recycling and all this stuff and cleaning up after yourself. So luckily all the bratty kids, or what do they call it, University of Spoiled Children, are all taking care of the zero waste stuff here in LA, or at least on campus. And they won that national championship or whatever it is. So congrats to those students out there. Keep it going. Then when it comes to a 5-star guard out of Georgia, Isaiah Collier, this last weekend, he did visit both USC and UCLA, and he looks pretty good in those USC jerseys, but hopefully USC can keep him away from UCLA because he is definitely one of the better players coming into college, not this fall, but the following fall. So definitely hoping that USC can get a type of player like that. Then, as you see pictured there, 5 Dukies were at the NBA draft lottery last night. It's kind of weird that they had a bunch of the players there, but I believe they're just going to end up moving over to Chicago and going to the NBA Combine for the next couple of days. I think that starts Thursday and Friday. See everything. It's weird measurables came out, like the center, Mark Williams, even with shoes on, he's like 7'2", so he's like 2 inches taller than what they have been saying, and with like over a 7'5" wingspan, something like that. So it's just crazy. That's why they definitely have him going in the first round in a lot of mocks. And then you see Paolo Banchero, obviously the guy who from Duke is gonna end up getting picked in the top 3 with all those different hats of the top teams that were in the top 5 or something like that. So it could be very interesting to see where he ends up. But they had released a mock draft. I think it was Bleacher Report. The first Dukie going was Paolo Banchero, going number 3 overall to the Houston Rockets. Almost said Texans, but yes, Houston Rockets. Not a bad place for him. I think he could definitely play with one of their younger guys they drafted last year in Jalen Green. We'll see if he could play with Christian Wood, who is a power forward / center for them, as well as like a similar position they would be playing. So we'll see. AJ Griffin, small forward from Duke, is going number 7 overall to the Sacramento Kings. It said this kind of doesn't make sense because Sacramento moved up all the way to number 4. So I don't know what draft they were going by unless Sacramento moved back in order to make this deal. But if they were picking him at number 4, I think that would be kind of a stretch because I think there's other guys like Jaden Ivey, Keegan Murray, you know, other guys like that, Johnny Davis even, that I think are going to have more productive NBA careers than Griffin, even though he's a Dukie. But yeah, it's going to take him a while to get good in the NBA, in my opinion. Then speaking of Mark Williams, he's going number 13 overall to the Charlotte Hornets. It's a pretty good situation for him where their star player still waiting on LaMelo Ball. He has a lot of stats and some kind of interesting plays here and there, but I still need to see more consistency from him. And it's, yeah, he's in the race to make the playoffs in the East because the East is always horrible. But yeah, to add a guy like Mark Williams to that team, they could be definitely formidable in the bottom part of the East for the playoffs. Then when it comes to Wendell Moore Jr., my favorite player from Duke, say that officiously, but yes, he is going to the Heat at number 27, it says, which kind of doesn't make sense either because it seems like the Miami Heat are going to be the 2nd or first team because they might win the NBA title this year. But overall, it's kind of near where he would get picked, I guess. That's a good situation for him. He'll be able to stand that culture. They ask a lot out of their players, even when it comes to keeping in shape and stuff. So he'll be able to do that and make the team. But overall, it's not that bad going to a team that could possibly make the NBA Finals this year. Then Trevor Keels, the shooting guard, goes number 36 to Portland. So maybe this is Portland trying to get their Duke player in the second round, diamond in the rough, where they got Gary Trent Jr. the other year, and he became a really good player, but they stupidly traded him to Toronto, and he got a big contract out there because he played very well. So maybe they're trying to get another shooting guard like that again, but I don't know if this kind of sort of hints that Keels might want to return or not. But then again, if AJ Green is visiting the campus today, similar position, it kind of seems like he might stay in the draft because at 36, that is a pretty high second round pick. So you might get some money, you're not going to get first round money, but overall, he might end up staying in there just because he is going to get picked somewhat high and not in the back half of the second round for a lot of those guys. So see how this goes. It's going to be very interesting. I think the draft is in a couple months or a month and a half or something like that. So be fun to see, and definitely good luck to Luka and the Dallas Mavericks tonight. Yes, this is the only Dallas type of thing I own, clothing wise or anything wise. So yes, thanks for watching, people. Like, subscribe, comment down below, let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.